First thing we're going to do is read what's across the top of the map. So position yourself so you can pull the map towards you or whatnot, so you can read the letters and the writing across the top of the map. We'll start at the left. What's this? What state is this map of?
Alaska.
All right, everybody gets a plus 10 on that. And it's a 1 over 50 thousandths. What that means is 1 inch on the map equals 50,000 inches on the ground. The maps that are commonly used by the military are 1 over 50 and 1 over 250. So the 1 over 250 has more detail on it because all the terrain features are bigger, right? It's twice as big as the map you're looking at, the terrain features are. It's much easier to navigate with a 1 over 250 thousandths than it is to navigate with a 1 over 50. Most of the maps I've used all my life, 1 over 50. The WGS 84, that is telling people who sell maps what map it is, okay? So if you were to go online to the USGS, you could order a WGS 84. Got a map of the military installation. Which military installation you think we're dealing with?
Fort Wainwright military installation map.
That's right. East. Fort Wainwright East. Okay? That's important. We have the map edition, the map series, and the map sheet. That's important to you, again, if you go to buy a map. All right? And how does it fit in with other maps? We'll look right down in the bottom right-hand corner. And on the white portion of the paper, it says adjourning sheets. Do you see that? So I look at that, and the dark rectangle is the map I have. If I want to buy the one north, south, east, or west of it, you could buy it by the number on there, okay? I know that doesn't thrill you any, but at some time in the future, you may need to go buy maps, all right? Now, let's look down, questions on what the stuff at the top means. Now we're going to the white section across the bottom. And I'm going to pull mine out here so I'm not reading upside down. First thing you see on the left-hand side is the legend. The legend is very important. It tells you what all the symbols on the map mean. Okay? This is very, very important so that you can read the vegetation. You can read what type of road there is on the map. You have hardball roads, and then you have all-weather roads. All-weather roads aren't necessarily all-weather, right? It just means that sometimes it's rougher than others, and other times it's impossible to go down. Okay? If you look in this legend, you have populated areas, you have your roads underneath. That's really important. Under cultural features, you'll see churches, you'll see school, you'll see hospital. Sometimes that's important to you. If on the test, I would ask you to go and azimuth at a distance from the hospital, you have to be able to find the hospital, right? Won't do you any good to go an azimuth a distance from the school when you need to go to the hospital. So you need to know what that symbol looks like. It's all in the legend. Vertical obstructions. You'll notice towers. I like towers when I'm trying to navigate. I can stand on the ground and see towers a long way away. If it's nighttime, the towers are lit so airplanes don't fly into them. So at nighttime, I could take an azimuth to the tower from a long way away and pinpoint where I am. Towers are neat to know. Now we get down to water. We got different kinds of water on the map. If you look at the bottom left corner, you see the Tanana River. Top left corner, you see the Chena River. Bottom right corner, you see the Salsa River. You'll see the Salsa River. There are lakes, there are ponds, there is marsh. In the wintertime, you don't have to worry too much about crossing marsh. You just get on your snow machine and ride across the marsh. It's a whole different story in the summertime, isn't it? Okay, so you need to know what those symbols look like. I'm not going to bore you with the hydraulic features. Military legend. I ain't in the military. That don't matter to me, so I don't care. Ooh, see that great big red box in the middle of the map?
Yep.
What does it say that great big red box is?
Impact area.
Yeah, impact area. What do you think's impacting in there?
Artillery.
Artillery.
Boom.
Okay. Artillery's impacted in there.
Bombs.
It doesn't say small arms. The little box in the middle left says small arms. So you don't have to worry about that. That's just machine gun rounds, 50 caliber machine gun rounds and stuff. They bounce off you, right?
No.
No? Okay. So, you don't want to go berry picking in there, right?
Aww.
Yeah. You notice in the Stewart Creek impact area, there's a nice road that goes right through there. I know some people that went bear hunting down that nice road. And there were big craters in that nice road. And there were a lot of bears out there too, by the way. Okay? But that's important to you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay? Landing zones are important to you. And drop zones are important to you. Okay? People tend to go out and pitch their tents in nice open areas because they're camping or they're moose hunting. Well, if you pitch your tent on a landing zone, you may be in the way of somebody landing their airplane or their helicopter. Okay? So you don't just ignore the military legend. You look at it and you read it. Next, going to the right, we come to a conversion chart. You convert feet to meters there. Okay, so there's 3 feet in a yard. This map's laid out mostly in meters. You and I, we're used to thinking in yards. Well, a meter is almost a foot longer than a yard. It's about it ought to tell you here. 3.28 feet. Okay? 1 1/3 yards, all right? So it's important that you navigate in meters. If you need to change it to yards, you have to do the math. Okay? Side slope guide. I'm not going to bore you with the slope guide. You don't need to determine the slope of hills and valleys and stuff, okay? That's too complicated for this class. We don't need that. I will go up to the scale, okay? I happen to know on the test they're going to ask you the distance between such and such and such and such, okay? Between A and B, what's the distance? Well, you look at the scale, and the top one's kilometers. Okay, that's 1,000 meters. A kilometer is 1,000 meters. The scale under that's in miles. It says statute miles. A statute mile is what we're used to driving on the road. Okay? A nautical mile is a little longer than a statute mile. You will see that it's quite a bit longer. Read the question carefully. How far is it from number 1 to number 2 in statute miles? How far is it from number 3 to number 4 in nautical miles? Okay? Or in kilometers. So it's important that you know that. We're going to come back to that later, okay, on how to take the measurements. Right now, I'm just going over the information you find on the bottom. Later on, I will teach you how to measure using the scale. Underneath that's a real important thing. Elevation in meters. I was looking at this map when I got it at home, and I looked up in that big white area up here, and I looked at a hilltop, and the hilltop was, oh, let me see if I can find it, 594. I found a hilltop that's 594, and I said to myself, there's no vegetation on that hill. That hill's not very tall, 594 feet. Wait a minute. What's the contour interval? Meters. Oh, that hill's 594 meters tall. So 3 times as tall as what I thought it was when I first looked at it. If you were walking up that hill, you would know it was 3 times taller than 500 feet, wouldn't you? Okay? That's a long way up that hill, man. Okay? That's why there's no vegetation on it. How do I know there's no vegetation? Vegetation's green. That's all white. There's no vegetation on that hill. So it's important. Your contour interval is in meters. So, how high is the hill number 5 on the map?
Number 5.
Well, there'd be on the test, there'll be a 5 and an arrow to the hill, okay? And you look at it, and I'm going to teach you how to count the contour lines, and you have to know, are those in feet, or are they in meters? It's imperative that you know that, okay? The little writing under that, I'm not too worried about for you guys. And the writing in that box, I'm not worried about for you guys. That's how the military uses the black squares that you see. If you want to learn that in another class, I can teach you that in another class. YHEC does not teach you. See these squares made by the black lines? Okay. The military has a method that we can measure how far we are from the intersection of those black lines and get exactly where we're at. You don't need that for YHEC, okay? So just ignore the black squares in the middle of the map. Okay, now, how many types of north are there?
1, 2, 3.
There's 3 types of north, man. Okay, when you are looking at a map, there are 3 types of north. When you're in a classroom and you're looking at the map, the top of the map is what we call grid north. Okay? Your map's laid out in grids. The top of your map is grid north. You could think of it as map north. Okay? It's north on the map. Oh. Then we have true north. And that's on Airport Way, right? Big church on Airport Way, True North Church.
No.
No?
I go there.
So what's True North?
True north is north.
It's the actual north. It's not compass north. Compass north is actually south. The actual north.
So when I stand under the Big Dipper and I look up and I find the North Star and I draw a line from the North Star right down to the road, that's true north. Okay? Which is what she was saying. Actual true north. Then you have magnetic north, and that's where the compass is pointing. And where does the compass point?
To Canada.
To Canada.
It's under rocks in Canada.
Yeah, from here, that's
South.
ridiculous. Yeah.
We actually looked that up. I'm not sure if we say the same thing, but that's not quite working out in my head. Apparently, there's like the magnetic north is a point in the Arctic Circle that is actually continually moving around. It doesn't stop in one spot.
Well, that's because the earth wobbled. That's why it's moving around. But your compass points to a magnetic field in Canada. Okay? And from here, that's quite a bit to the right. If you look at this map was made in 2020. I see that just to the right of where that arrow is that says magnetic north. And the GM angle was 16.6 degrees. We will learn about the GM angle later. We probably won't have time to learn that today. That's more advanced than what we'll get into today. Okay? But you need to know there are three norths. The north, as the map's facing, true north to the North Star, and then right to the magnetic field. For us, it's right. For other parts of the world, if you're in England, the magnetic field's to the left of you, isn't it? Okay? All right. And it tells you on this map how to convert a GM angle. Again, that's a more advanced class than we'll probably get into today. Okay? Moving to the right, we have ranges and training areas. I told you the Army has a way of locating that. That's what that, if you look at Manchu Range, it's at Victor Sierra 992-127-4882. Okay, that's using all those black lines that are going north and south and east and west across the map. Don't you worry about that. You don't need to learn that in here today. But that's where that applies. That's how the Army uses it or the military uses it. Okay? Adjoining sheets we already talked about. Those are, if your sheet's outlined in bold lines. If you wanted to buy the sheets left or right or up or down of it, that has the sheet number. So you could go to USGS online and you could buy the sheets to the left and right, north and south, and have a huge map if that's what you need to do. Elevation guide with the different colors for altitude on it. That's kind of fun. In particular, if you get your contour lines mixed up. Okay. You see that it's WGS 84 and it's SFT Wayneum. Okay, same thing is said up above. It's just so you can order maps. Questions about what we read across the bottom? Okay, so if my grid north, and everything I'm going to talk about now is grid, okay? If I say magnetic, then we'll change gears, but what I'm talking about is grid. Okay, so grid north is the top of the map. Where's west? Where's west?
Left.
That's my right. That's your left. So we know the memory aid because I've taught it to you before. Never eat sour watermelon.
Never eat soggy waffles.
Never eat soggy
Now I'll do it your way.
Yep.
Never eat sour watermelon.
Soggy waffles.
Or soggy
Singing
waffles.
waffles.
Never eat shredded wheat.
Okay? So we have north. This is to you. I'm doing it the way you're looking at it. North, east, south, west. Okay? So never eat soggy waffles. You'd be surprised how many people don't know that, okay? So if I'm facing east, I'm facing your east, and I want to go north, which way do I need to turn?
Left.
Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sir.
Correct. Okay? That's so important. So important. I tell you, look in the northeast corner of your map, and you go looking at the bottom, you're not going to find what we're looking for. So, the Tanana River, what corner of the map is that?
Southwest. Southwest.
Southwest. It's
Oh,
in the
wait.
southwest corner of the map,
In the
isn't it?
southeast for a second. I was like, what?
Okay? So the Salsa River's in what corner of the map?
Southwest.
Southeast.
Southeast,
East.
sorry.
Southeast. And the Chena River's where?
West.
Northwest
one.
in the map. Okay. Everybody understand that? That's too easy. That's too basic, right? All right. So, how many types of north?
3.
All right. So when I'm using the map, the first thing I need to do is I need to orient the map. If I'm in a classroom, it's pretty easy, folks. You lay it down just like you have it with north straight up. Okay? But when we're in the field trying to navigate, then things become more complicated. Because if I stand here with the north end of the map up, but I'm facing south, that's just going to confuse me to no end trying to navigate. It's just really going to confuse me. I could do it, maybe. Okay? But boy, I'm certainly likely to go right when I should have went left, and I'm trying to line that hill I see up over there on my map, and it's down here and backwards. God, okay? So, what I do when I go to the field, I do one of two things. The first is, and the hardest is, I orient the map to the terrain. That's why I like towers. Boy, do I like towers. Okay? Because ain't nothing looks like a tower but a tower. That hill that I see over there, is that this hill or is that hill? Or is that... Okay? You can tell the difference by looking at them when you're good. When you're not good at it, you can't tell the difference by looking at it. Okay? But what I would do, if I was heading that way, I'm right here at the edge of the French Creek Small Arms Impact Area, and I'm going to head east because I want to hit Eielson Air Force Base. I'm going to take my map and I'm going to orient it the way I'm looking. Okay? If I can see that tower right there and I can find the tower right here, I'm going to line it up right on that, this case, the doorway. And I can see that window right there on my map. I'm going to line it up right here. And now as I stand, the direction I'm moving is the direction I'm reading the map. Okay? Usually when we navigate, we'll draw a line from where we're at to where we're going. And then I look at that line and I see, ooh, that goes right through the lake. Probably don't want to go that way. Might want to go a different way. Okay? And it's imperative that you can see the way you're going on the map. The other way is to line your map up with magnetic north. Now, I walked in here with a compass.
And I lost.
Thank you, dear. I got my army compass someplace, but that's okay. So, see that line that says magnetic north? Thank you. Everybody sees that line that says magnetic north? I take the line on my compass. I put it directly on that line that says magnetic north. And then I turn me in my map until the north-seeking arrow is in my little mark for it that I have here. Oh, make sure your compass is set on north. Make sure the end's on the line, okay? Put it on your line on your map, and then I turn me and my map until the north-seeking arrow is in the mark on my compass. Now my map is oriented. I am facing magnetic north, and I got my compass out looking magnetic north. And then everything I do, the rest of that movement, is going to be magnetic north. And I won't have to convert my GM angle. Okay? Everybody understand?
Yes, sir.
Now that's going to make your terrain features about 16 degrees off, isn't it? It is. Because you're not facing grid north, you're facing magnetic north. So now all of your terrain features on your map are a little bit off to the right. Boy, that complicates my life a lot. Okay?
Just do a grid north.
What I do is I orient my map to the local terrain features. Okay? If I'm moving, I orient my map to the local terrain features because it does complicate life to make it magnetic north. Okay? But if I could see the hill here, and I got that hill on my map, that's this hill right here, and I could see that tower right there, and that's that tower on my map right there. I could spin my map so it matched that hill's looking right, the line to the tower's pointing to the tower. Now everything lines up. Do it any way that tickles you. That's the way I do it. Now, what happens if you're out in the middle of black spruce? You can't see anything but black spruce. There are no hills, there are no valleys, there are no towers. There's just black spruce. Well,
Or the bear food.
we also have the line it up with the compass method, right? Okay, so use the method that pertains to what it is you need to know. Okay, or the terrain that you're on. If you can't see hills, you certainly can't line it up on a hill. If you can't see the river, you can't line it up on the river. Okay, questions on that? All right, so let's go back to the scale in the middle of the map and how to measure distances. There's a couple of different ways to measure distances and a couple of techniques to use. I really like the way with a set of dividers. I looked for my dividers. I have some someplace. I couldn't find it. But you know what I'm talking about? Dividers, it looks like a compass, but both ends are pointy. You don't have a pencil in it. You can use a compass, just sharpen the pencil. Okay, so it makes a little bitty dot. And then I want to know how far it is from number 2 to number 3. Okay, I can take my compass and I can open it up to 5 kilometers. I can stick it on number 1, go 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers. Point how many? Measured back on here, 0.2. 15.2 kilometers. That would be 1,500, 200 yards, or meters, I'm sorry. With me? Okay, the map's not too, or the math isn't too hard. Most of us don't have a compass.
I have a compass.
But I tell you what I do have. I got a sharp pencil. Make sure your pencil's really, really sharp. Okay? And I have a piece of paper. And I put the corner of my paper down on number 1. And how far is it to number 2? I make a line with my really sharp pencil on number 2. I can lay that against the scale and I can read it. Too easy? Now look at the scale closely. From 0 to the right, it goes 5 kilometers. From the 0 to the left, it breaks it down in 100-meter increments. So never do I measure anything that's exactly 3 kilometers. It's always 3 kilometers and something. You get the something to the left. So I marked a line here. I made a big fat line here. I lay it on my scale. And I can put the 5 here. The 0 ends up here. And then I count 1, 2, 3, 4. 5.4 kilometers. So that's 5 kilometers is 5,000 and 4 100-meter increments, right? So 5,400 meters.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Questions on that? See how to do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay? And that is the same as if I asked for miles, statute, nauticals. I do it the same way. I can mark it on a piece of paper. Okay? I could measure it on a ruler. But now we got a lot of numbers and lines and stuff in the way, and that might confuse me. I get less confused on a piece of paper. Okay? That works really good for straight line distance. Okay? Do you walk straight line distance?
No.
Hardly ever, huh? Okay? But it'll work for different legs of the distance also. Okay? So there's a lake in the way. And I got to walk from here to the edge of the lake. I can measure that distance. Then I got to walk to your left of the lake. I can measure that distance. And then I have to walk to that side of the lake and back to this side of the lake. Well, I can measure all those distances. And I can put it on my notebook. And that way when I get to the lake, I know I got to turn this way. Walk however far I measured. Turn the other way. Walk however far I measured. Go right back to start. Because the numbers ought to add up, right? And then keep going. And with my thing was 300 meters away, I walked 100 meters over here, 100 meters, same distance back to there. Then I've walked 100 plus 100, 200 meters along my route. We tracking?
Yes.
Okay, makes sense to me. Okay? What if it's a crooked line that I'm walking? I ask you to measure the distance along the trail from George's house to Sally's house. There ain't no road. They live out in the Tulies. They walk a crooked trail from George's house to Sally's house. I want to know the distance along the road. Why do I want to know the distance? Because I'm pace counting along the road to stay oriented, okay? So for that, you can do a couple things. One is you can use a string. And you lay your string down along the road, all the curves and stuff, over to Sally's house. Mark it, pick up your string, measure it on your scale. I can also, it's kind of a nuisance. And if the wind's blowing and it's raining, and when are you in the woods that it's not raining with the wind blowing? It's even more of a nuisance. But you can also use your paper. And I don't have a blackboard, or I'd show you. But with your paper, you just make a mark, and you follow the trail by making marks, okay? You mark on your map and on your paper, and you can follow the crooked trail with the straight edge by twisting it around the curve, make a mark, twist it around the curve, make a mark, twist it around the curve, make a mark, get back on the straightaway, make a mark. Does that make sense to you? It'd be best if I could show you on a screen, but I can't show you on a screen. I can show you on that. Thank you. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. That's a better color. Okay. Okay, this is too good. So what I'm going to do is Can you see that, or do I need a brighter color?
I can see that.
How about the back of the room? Can you see that brown? Yeah. All right. So, I'm going to take this corner of the paper. There's my start line. Okay? I'm not too smart, so I'm going to put an arrow on my start line so I don't get it backwards later on when I'm looking at it, okay? So I got an arrow on my start corner. I'm going to start right here at Sally's house. Right there is as straight as the road gets. I'm going to make a line on my paper and the map. Now I got to go around this curve, straighten it out as much as I can. Straighten it out as much as I can. Straighten it out as much as I can. Get as much in there. And away I go. And I do that all the way around till I got to Joey's house. And then I would just measure the distance between this corner and Joey's house, okay?
I thought it was George.
George, Joey, she's got her voice all over. So, does that explain to you how I'd measure the crooked line?
Yeah.
Okay? Trails, roads, creeks, rivers, that's how you can measure. Okay? Now, the other thing that you need to be aware of is what is the contour interval on your map. Middle of the map, just underneath the scale,
20
says the
meters.
contour interval. Thank you. Boy, that got stuck. So the contour interval is 20 meters. Okay, guys, 20 meters is 20 giant steps. So when you look at those little brown lines on your map that depict going up in elevation, you're going up in elevation 20 meters between each of those brown lines. Oh. So you look at the top of this map where there's nothing but great big, or in the middle, where there's nothing but great big hills, and you measure from this hilltop to that hilltop, it's only 300 meters. But holy smokes, Andy, it's 20, 40, 60, 80, 200 meters to the bottom of the hill. Then it's 200 meters to the top of the next hill. So you're not walking 100 meters. If you were in an airplane, you'd only fly 100 meters. But you're walking 200 down, 200 up, and the 100 across. So you better add that into your pace count. Okay? Do you see where I got that? Mm-hmm. And now the other thing is that 20 meters isn't like walking across this room. That 20 meters is straight up. Now the hill may be gradual, but the 20 meters is really, really high, okay? So that's 2.5 meters to the ceiling.
So how many stories up would 20 meters be? How many stories up?
20? 10.
About 10 stories, right?
10
Good
stories
job.
in height.
So
So a
that,
10-story building.
yeah, so that's way up the hill, man. And you got to take that into consideration with your pace count. If the terrain feature is less than 20 meters high, it's not on the map. The map doesn't even measure it till it's 20 meters high. Okay? I ran into this when I was a young soldier, and they sent me to Panama, and they said, okay, Stables, you navigate. I said, cool. We're going from here to there. In my little line, I counted the hilltops. So we got 5 hilltops to go. Well, out there in that jungle, the hills are about this steep, and they're covered with mud, and everything out there grows thorns. So when you're crawling up that hill and you're grabbing trees, don't grab trees. The trees have thorns. When you're crawling up that hill and you see a bush, don't grab that bush. The bush has thorns. The grass has thorns. Okay? You go crawling through the grass, you come out with your clothes ruined because they're all cut up and you're bleeding. Everything has thorns. So I walked and I walked and I walked and I climbed and I climbed and I climbed and I got to the top of the hill. Went to the third hill. The sergeant comes up and I'm dying. The sergeant comes up, he says, Stables, where are you? 1, 2, 3 hills, Sergeant. We just got 2 more to go. He said, read the contour interval. I looked down at the contour interval, told him what it was. He said, we ain't gone up the first hill yet. Those 3 that you just went up, they ain't big enough to make the map. I said, oh my God. We got trouble here. Okay? I'm ready for a break. We haven't climbed the first hill yet. Okay? Contour interval is very important.
I would just
and it's very important that you can look at it and tell. Okay. Enough of that. All right. Colors. Colors on the map. Okay? It's important that we have colors on the map. And the primary colors are green, which is what?
Trees.
Vegetation. Okay? Vegetation. Green is vegetation. Black. What does black depict? It depicts man-made objects. Okay? So if there's a house on the map, it'll be black. If there's a church on the map, it'll be black. Okay? When you look over here at Eielson Air Force Base, which is in the western side of your map sheet,
Gee, I wonder what this is.
you see the little buildings all in there are black, or at least outlined in black. Those are man-made objects. That's why roads are often black. Okay? We also have blue. What does blue indicate? Water. Very good.
Restricted
Okay.
airspace.
No.
What other colors are on here? Often there's brown on a map.
There's red.
There's red. And the red is on the road, isn't it? And the impact areas. So those are also man-made items. Okay? All right. Sometimes you'll see brown on the map. Brown is areas of no vegetation. You go to Arizona, you look at a map, it's brown. Okay, guys, I'm talking.
Hey guys, oi, keep
I'm
it down
talking.
a little. You're too loud.
Yes, George.
What's this big old white area?
That is no vegetation. That's above the timber line, and there's just no vegetation up there. Now, they put trees for vegetation. You're going to run into muskeg up there. Okay? And you're going to run into willow bushes up there. Just like everywhere else
Those
you
little
go.
plants.
But you're not
The
going to
tundra
run
flats
into
are cooked.
trees. Okay? Yes, sir. It is a mountain. Okay? It's 500 meters tall. So 500 meters, the easy thing is just times 3. Okay? So it's 1,500 feet tall. All right. Look at your legend and see the symbols for swamp.
Already found them.
All right. The big easy swamp is just to the right on the south edge of your map. Just about a hand's distance to the right, you'll see a great big swamp in there. Okay?
The Tanana Flats are also.
And then the Tanana Flats are surrounded by swamp.
It's everywhere.
Which swamp?
There are like 20 of
And
them.
we usually don't name the swamp.
Let's come here.
Okay?
The Husky DZ or the drop zone is marsh.
Okay, terrain features. Terrain features, we have major terrain features and we have minor terrain features. Yes, sir. Sorry.
What's the difference between white and brown?
The brown is usually sand.
Wish we had some of that in here.
Okay, terrain features. It's imperative that we can tell the difference between a hill and a valley. It's imperative that we can tell the difference between a hill and a ridge. Okay? So major terrain features, that means big terrain features, okay? The ones that we're real concerned with are hill, a ridge, a valley, and a saddle. I don't have to explain to any Alaskan kids what a hill is. You all know what a hill is. If it looks like it would be fun sledding down that thing, it's a hill. Okay? A ridge. A ridge looks a lot like this. Okay? It's long. Long enough that you can travel across it. Okay? That is a ridge. A valley, well, that's obviously what's between hills and ridges, right? Oftentimes, you will see water in the valleys in Alaska. So if you're seeing a river running through there, have you ever seen the river run across the top of a ridge?
No.
Yes.
Okay? Me either. It might start out the side of a ridge and then it runs down a draw and into a valley. So if you're looking at the map and you're trying to decide, is this a ridge or a valley, and there's a blue line in it, that's a valley. Okay? When you get into mountainous area, it is very difficult to tell ridges from valleys. And I'll talk more about that in a little later. Because the contour lines are so jumbled up tight and close together that it's hard to tell. All right? Now, when you look at those little brown contour lines on the map, the farther apart they are, the more gradual the slope. Okay? Look at my training aid here. And for every time you see one of these little rises, if that's 20 meters, you can see that it takes a long way to go up 20 meters going up this edge of the ridge. Okay? If you went straight up this edge, you'll be climbing hand over hand, right? Can you see that from where you're at?
Yes, sir.
Okay. A saddle. A saddle is two hills connected together, usually like on a ridge. So if you look at it, it's exactly what you're doing. You have a hill, the saddle's the low area, and then a hilltop.
Literally like a horse.
And usually they are along a ridge. Okay?
That's fine.
Minor terrain features, a draw. A draw is a small valley. A cliff. A cliff's a good thing to look out for on your map.
Just maybe.
Okay? So
The road runner over there.
the contour lines on this map are every 20 meters high. If there's a long space between them, that ain't a cliff. But when they start getting real close together, it gets really steep. When you come to a cliff, it is so steep that the contour lines are stacked one on top of the other. And to depict that on a map, then we draw little straight lines on the side that the cliff is. Okay? So it will look like this.
That's really steep right there.
There's your contour lines. There's 5 of them right there, one on top of the other. Then we'll have little straight lines like this
What?
to depict what side the cliff is. Depression. Depression's like a gravel pit. What it amounts to is a pit is a circle, a pit, There's your gravel pit. And it has the cliff symbol all the way around it. Because you have a whole bunch of contour lines, again, stacked on each other, but this time going down, right? And you can see by this symbol which way the depression's going. Okay? Okay, water features. You guys already know what a river looks like, yeah?
Yeah.
We found them on the map.
Yeah.
Okay? A creek is just a smaller river. Okay? How do you tell a creek from a river? Well,
It'll be small.
you can yeah. So if you can't run your motorboat up it, it's a creek. Okay? If you can take your jet boat and drive up and down it, we're going to call it a river. Now those are Alaskan definitions. Those
What
are
if it's the Chattanooga that like they spoke?
well, the Chattanooga is officially a river.
But a slough.
Okay?
How do you say slough?
And a slough is where there is, that's strictly Alaskan term also. And that's where there's really no current. Okay, no current to speak of. It would look like a creek to you, but there's no current. Okay? If you get out west, they have really different in the United States out west, in the desert areas, they have very different definitions of what a river is. We would call it something you could jump over. And they call it a river. We wouldn't call it an obstacle even. They call it a river. Okay, lakes. Got lakes, ponds, ocean. So it depends on the size of it. Okay? But those will be marked also in blue. The swamp we already found. I used to have when I made the test, I had a tiebreaker on it. I asked you which way a little stream was flowing. Water flows downhill. You know that, and you could have all answered that question. But when you go looking at the map, it's not necessarily very obvious which way's downhill. Okay? Now, look at the Tanana River here in the southwest of your map. If you were just looking at the Tanana River and you were looking at the grid lines around it, and you didn't know which way the Tanana River flows down there, you'd just have a terrible time figuring out which way that river's flowing, wouldn't you?
That way.
Okay? Well, so in this case, they put a little blue arrow in the middle of it to tell us which way it's flowing. They don't always do that. Okay? So look in the opposite corner at the Salsha River, and you will see that no more than they give us at the Salsha River, you can't tell which way that river's flowing by looking at this map sheet. Sometimes you got to follow it all the way up till you see it going up a hill, and you know it don't go up the hill, but that's the source of it up that hill, and then you can follow it back to where you are. Make sense with that? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, man-made features. On the map, you'll find buildings. You'll find roads. We talked about it in the legend. Towers, hospitals, churches, runways, drop zones, ranges, and impact areas. Obawawa. Okay, what I need you guys to do now is come on up here close to me so I can explain some things to you. Just gather around and yeah, you can stay there. Crawl up on it.
So if you guys are gonna sit on the table, sit on the table. So talk, it's gonna stand behind you, huh? No, you're pretty short.
I have some new training aids here, and I kind of like them a lot. All right. This is a hill. Be easier to look at, just like this. There's a hill. Okay. If you trace around this, on a piece of paper, it will show you the contour line. Okay, thank you. So if I want to know what this hill would look like on the map, I could trace around it.
$0.01.
2 cents a year.
Okay, so if we were to draw around that, that's exactly what the contour lines would look like on the map. Now, does this hill have a flat top?
No.
Well, it might,
I doubt it.
but I doubt it too. Usually hilltops are round, so why is this flat? Why isn't it round?
Because it's hard to replicate that on a 3D printer.
And it's less than 20 meters tall, the round piece is. Okay? So it could be 19 meters taller than what you're seeing here, and it won't make it on the map. Okay? They depict the hilltop by these lines right here in the middle. So you look right here, boom, there's a hilltop. Okay? Can you guys see that from where you're standing?
Yeah.
Okay? I go around here and here's a hilltop. And this hilltop's marked for me. It's 788 meters tall. That's a pretty good hill. If they have the exact figure for the height, there will be a little bitty X on the highest part. You can see, where was that hill? I just had my finger on it. There it is. You can see the little bitty X on the very top of that hill, and it's marked 788. That a boy? Right there. It's another hilltop with the X that's marked. Now,
Here's 2.
that's the hilltop. And you see how these lines go out and they look like a finger? Okay? That's a ridge. In fact, what it used to be, before I had my fancy training aids, you'd lay your hand down and take a magic marker, and I could draw the hilltop here. And then I could draw the ridge lines here. Or you can do it like this. If you're a sissy and don't want to mark on your hand, you can do it like that. And then I can have a hilltop here, a hilltop here, hilltop, and keep going, okay? So this is the hill. This, as you can see, is the ridge. You can walk right up the ridge this way, or you could climb straight up the ridge that way, couldn't you?
I go this way.
You'd go that way. You'd like that better?
It's not too steep and it doesn't take too long.
And it doesn't take too long. Okay.
And how big is each one of those stair steps, guys?
20 meters.
On this map, 20 meters. So that's a long way. Okay? And we can measure that distance using our scale. We'll just pretend it's that long. So that would be 5 kilometers. Plus 3 kilometers is
8.
5 and 3 is what?
8.
8. And 50, half of 100 is 50. So that's 850 meters from here to here. And it climbs 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 meters in that 800 meters. So I'd be adding that to my pace count. That's 900 meter pace count. Okay? If you don't add it to your pace count, you're going to get tired long before you get to the top. Do you see how that works?
Yeah.
Okay? Those of you who can see where I'm at here, we have a lot of saddles on this map. The map has a lot of saddles. I'm looking for, well, here's one. So here's a hilltop, here's a hilltop, and you have that depression between the two hilltops. That's the saddle right there. There are easier ones. There we go. This is textbook perfect saddle. You have a hill, it's all on the same ridge. You see it's on the same ridge, and right there is the saddle. Okay? Now, a real sneaky guy making the test could ask you the elevation of that saddle. So we're going to find the elevation of that saddle. How do we do that, man? Okay, if we look far enough, we're going to find one of these lines that's numbered. Okay? Now we may have to look a long way to find one of those lines. There we go, 500. 500 meters. So I follow that big brown one around. Oop, going the wrong way, Curtis. In fact, that one don't go where I need to go. You showed me one that don't go there. Maybe I need to find an easier hill, man. Okay?
There's a hill.
Lord help me.
There's a hill.
I need to find one. Well, I need to find one that's easy to measure the numbers.
There's a hill.
Here we go.
There's a hill.
All right. Here we go is an easier one. I go down here on this brown line and I see the 400. So that's 400 meters. I go to the next contour line and that would be 420 meters. So I find I want to know the height of this. So I actually need to drop one, don't I? Drop to 380 and come down. But that's 380, but that ain't where my mark is. And they're every 20 meters, so I'm going to half it. I'm going to say 10. So 380 plus 10 is
390.
390 meters to right there. Okay?
And if you look every 100 meter step,
It's marked.
it's darker.
It's darker, and it's marked with a number someplace. Where I first picked to go, you had to go 20 miles away to find that number. But there's a number there someplace, okay? And you'll find it, and you can go from there. Okay, now, I'm going to go back to my hand model. Okay? If this is my hand, and I'm looking at ridges, ridges are usually blunt, like my fingers. Okay? Valleys usually come to a point, like you see right here. Now, not always, but usually they come to a point. So, here I have a ridge going down. This one's too simple because you see swamp, and you know the swamp is not on top of the mountain. Okay? But this is a ridge. This is a valley coming up toward the ridge. Okay? This is a ridge. There's a valley pointing in toward the ridge. Come up here. Here's a ridge. Oh, that's a steep ridge. And here's a valley coming into the ridge. Okay? Ridge, valley. Dead giveaway is the water sign. But there's not always a water sign. Okay? Here again, we have a ridge. And then right here where you see the water is the valley. Okay? This would actually, we'd call that a draw. A draw is a little valley. Okay? And this would be a bigger valley. The difference between them as far as the military is concerned is maneuvering room. So what that means to you is if 3 or 4 of us can walk up it and still be in the valley, you know, we're all walking up, 3 or 4 of us, and we're in the valley, we're in a valley. When you get to a draw, there's not room for the 3 or 4 of us to spread out in the draw. It's like Indian file up the draw, okay? And that's the difference. If there's room to move around, it's a valley. No room to move around, it's a draw. Okay? So, Pop, 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 pop. What's this right here?
Swamp.
That must be a hole.
Well, that's a hilltop. And that bad boy is 868 meters tall.
But it has swamp on it.
Well, it has not swamp, that's swamp. It has those little green swigglies. So what's the little green swiggly right there? Brush. There's a big difference between brush and a swamp. Brush is good moose hunting.
So swamp
Okay,
though.
so swamp. But which one would you rather carry him out of?
That's the thing.
All right. So that's the hilltop. This is the ridge. Notice how this little trail follows the easy way across these ridges up to the next hilltop. Okay? These, of course, are all draws. They have water in them. That's a valley. It has water in it. Okay? I don't see any cliffs offhand. I haven't studied this map sheet close enough to be able to point straight to a cliff for you. But there's some really close together contour lines, in particular up here. Where are you at, buddy? Right there, they're pretty close together.
Yeah.
That's not a cliff, but by golly, you could fly your hang glider off of it. It's steep enough.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Can't find any cliff actually.
What's that?
Can't find any cliff actually.
No, I'm not seeing any cliffs.
I'm not
I'm
seeing
seeing some
cliffs.
places where the contour lines are.
I
over
can't see
here.
it. There is no cliffs in this area, I'm pretty sure. If there are.
That's an airfield. That's what that is, in a restricted area.
Firing ranges.
Yeah, it's a firing
I
point.
found a super close one.
Super close, okay.
It's all the way at 317. Right below 317.
Right below 317, gotcha. Oh yeah, yeah, look how tight they are right here. Okay, you're not talking me into walking up that. And in fact, I doubt I could walk down it. That'd be get on your butt and slide territory, wouldn't it? Okay.
No, that's a jump off the parachute and hope you don't hit a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
just pump the parachute.
Hope you don't hit a tree.
Questions on the terrain features, guys?
Nope.
So things that I would ask on the test. I didn't make the test. Miss Belinda made the test. But if it was me, that's why that doesn't fit. Oh, it does. Okay. There. That's wild. If I were making the test, I would ask you, from this hill to that hill is how far? Well, you got to know what the hill looks like, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, I put a big circle. From this hill to that hill is how far? How high is that hill? Could you guys tell me how high it is? Could you measure a hill?
Yeah.
You can use the contour lines.
Using the contour lines, exactly. Read the contour interval. And the right answer is not 100. The right answer would be 100 feet or 100 meters or whatever the contour interval is, okay? So just don't say 100. If I ask you, I would ask you the distance up the ridge. You need to know what a ridge looks like. When you give me the distance, give it to me in what I asked for. If I ask for what's the distance in meters, give me the distance in meters. Tell me it's 6,000 meters.
Okay, it's
Okay.
6,000 meters.
There you go. If I ask for it in feet, give it to me in feet. Don't expect me to do the math.
6,000 feet?
No.
I am sure that you'll be asked all of the major terrain features. You need to know what a hill looks like, a valley looks like, a ridge, and a saddle. And we just saw them here today. The saddles are real obvious. The hills are real obvious because they're connected to just this little circle all connected right on top, right? Okay? I could argue with you real effectively that this way is a ridge. Okay.
Do we want to have them each find a terrain feature on their map?
Well, you're running out of time, I think.
We are.
Yeah.
We're getting it wrong.
Yeah. So I think we're running out of time.
What about
Later on, well,
shooting an azimuth?
we did shoot an azimuth last Tuesday.
But we could go over it next week.
Yeah,
Dad won't be here.
I won't be here, but you guys can go over it, and I have protractors. Okay, now,
I don't have that on the map.
you don't know how to do that on a map. Well, then let me,
Gotta learn a week.
I have a vague idea.
then let me show you.
Okay.
Come on over here and I'll show you, and it don't hurt to show the kids. Okay? So on this protractor, this is for the Army. So what you really want to do is cut this off.
Okay.
Cut right along that line.
And use the small.
Because these are degrees,
Okay.
these are mils.
Okay.
And I'm not going to confuse anyone with what a mil is.
Millimeter?
It's a dog, not a kid.
No, a mil on a compass.
Never mind. No.
Okay, so, hard part is make sure you got the darn thing right side up. So before you ever stick it on the map,
Make sure you read it.
make sure you hold it up and you can read it, and it ain't backwards. That looks like Afghani. That looks like English, okay? Okay? Yes, sir. No. I just need them here, please. All right, so 0 is north. And we're talking grid now.
Okay, grid north.
See all these lines? Those lines that
That's a
go
grid.
straight up and down go grid. So, I'm going to pick an easy one. I want to go from the road intersection. Okay? Make sure that it's pointing straight up. All right? You can take a straight edge or you can take a string. Put it right here. Piece of paper. There we go. All right. I want to go 110 degrees. So I want to go from there. 110 degrees. Move that. Draw a line. There's my azimuth.
From where to where? So if I want to
From-
leave the road and go a certain way, I would do 110 degrees?
Yeah, so I just said I want to go 110 degrees. But I want to know, all right, I want to know what the azimuth is from there to here. Well, no, those are too close together. From there to here. Okay? So, put it on the 500. Make sure it's parallel with this line. Okay? Middle of grizzly
To the
to the middle
500,
of here. And it is 280 degrees.
280 degrees. Okay.
Okay? Another way would be to tie a string in here, a thin string, black thread, Tie a knot,
and then
and then just pull it over and here and read the number the string crosses.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Now, make one harder for you. Thank you. I want to find out where I am. So, I can see that tower. And I can see Brigadier Gate.
Okay.
Okay?
And I can see how you could figure out where you are. So if the tower's on that side and the tower's on that side, may I see? Then you'd look at it. Let me see. Okay, so if I can see that, and I can see that, then I could potentially. You could just
Well,
swing an arc.
we're getting too complicated for you. What we have to do is we have to convert a back azimuth.
Okay.
So if I see that tower and I saw that tower 10 degrees from me. Okay?
Okay.
10 plus 180 is 190. I would come down here and I'm on an azimuth of 190 degrees. Boom, 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 boom. I've moved it all.
It's okay, but
But
I
I'm
understand what
on
you're
an
doing.
azimuth of 190 degrees to draw a line.
Okay.
And then I saw that, and I saw that
And from
on an
my
azimuth
location, it was
of
200.
35 degrees. 35 plus 180 is,
Yeah, I see. Okay.
draw a line. I'm where the lines cross.
Okay. So I stand here and I shoot an azimuth on that, and then I get the reverse azimuth and shoot it back. And then I look at that guy, get an azimuth, do the reverse azimuth, shoot it back. Where the two intersect is where I am.
Affirmative.
Cool. Okay.
Okay. And you know, they've been taught back azimuth, but they'll have to be reinforced.
We'll have to talk about
back
it again.
azimuth.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay?
Okay,
And
we'll
again,
put
the
it
hard
in
part is making sure you got the right end up.
Okay. How do you feel about